Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I would like to show you updates that we've released for our rule engine. For this, I'm going to use one of my workspaces. Let's go over to the rule engine and create a new rule. As you might know, we have different kinds of options. The rule engine works for online, offline notification, for the system scheduler, where you can use time-based actions to schedule downlinks, the geofencing support, and we have a couple of new options which I'm going to show you now. So let's create a rule that basically just checks against a single device, and we're going to use the outdoor temperature sensor. Of course, you can add more sensors at the same time to a single rule, or you can use the rule engine to check hundreds of devices belonging to a single product. Next is the trigger. These things all stay the same as they were before. We can select the trigger is a new measurement. We can also limit that the rule only triggers when there's a new measurement in temperature and not triggered by any measurement. And then you can define the condition. And in here, we can select the temperature. Yes, I want to compare. So if the value is greater than, for example, let's say 10 degrees, that's our condition right now. And now there's the action. So when you click on add action, you have different kinds of options like email, SMS, webhook, and so on. First of all, let's create an email action. Next. So there's now a couple of things which are new. So first of all is advanced settings. And in here we have, as you can see, a new panel that looks a little bit different. We have two options. So execution on condition fulfillment. This means if the condition, so temperature greater than 10 degrees is true, these are the things that you can control what happens when we execute the condition or execute the action. And then there's execute on condition clearance. This means if the temperature falls below 10 degrees, this actually is condition clearance, and we can, for example, enable that this action is also being triggered, so the email action, when the temperature goes back to below 10 degrees, for example. You can use template languages in both the header and also the body, which means you can have one email for both rule events or also for online offline notification. And then there's something that is new, because this option, execute action when conditions becoming fulfilled, and then this option, execute action when conditions remain fulfilled. This means now your sensor sends the temperature like every 10 minutes, for example. And as soon as it starts getting over 10 degrees and it continues to send at a 15-minute or 10-minute interval, it would theoretically always trigger the action over and over again when this is switched on. This means that, for example, some customers are using this to trigger SMS or email alerts to make sure that these are arriving at the destination, or for downlinks, for example. And then you can switch on this toggle here, so it sends out multiple emails for as long as the temperature or any other condition stays above the threshold. But it could theoretically burn through all of your SMS credits, or could lead to endless emails in your inbox. So you need to make sure to switch it off. That was the previous feature. Or you can limit the number of how often you want these repetitions to happen. So in this case, we set this to number of 2. This means that once the temperature is above 10 degrees, it sends out 1, 2 actions, because we limit the number of consecutive executions to 2. We can also have a timeout. This means that, for example, if we set the timeout in seconds to 300, 5 minutes between the next sending of an email action or triggering of the action in general needs to pass until the action is triggered again. That's one of the things that's actually new on the rule engine. Another thing is what I just want to quickly mention is the time restrictions. So if you have like a time scan or do not disturb or notification time schedules, you can basically use this table here to set these. But we don't want to do this right now. Let's go back to the advanced settings. We leave everything like it is and add this new action. Of course, we need to have a receiver. Using my own email address, leaving the standard template as it is, and we are going to do the same for webhook. Webhook, basically, you are probably all familiar. We need a sample URL. Let's use one from going to copy this URL here, pasting it, and this will then also trigger the webhook. So now we have two actions in this very simple rule with very simple condition. And now let's save the rule. We need to call it temperature rule, save it. And now this is the rule. And now when you go back into the rule, you can see that there's logs now. So this is actually the really complete new feature that we just released. We actually made the logs available publicly. In order to show you how these look like, we need to actually trigger the rule. So remember, it was the temperature from our outdoor temperature sensor. Let's search for the outdoor temperature sensor, this one here. And if it was, I think, above 10, let's simulate. That happened 2 minutes ago, but that was probably faster than I was creating the rule. So let's go into configuration, fields, and simulate this value again. and you can see, okay, 1 second ago. Let's go into the rules, and on the webhook side, we can already see, okay, the webhook was triggered as an action. Let's go into the rules, to the rule engine, sorry, temperature rule, logs, and we can see, okay, 15 seconds ago, outdoor temperature sensor. And when we open up the log, you can see, okay, evaluation. So this is the condition, 11.9, which was the sensor value, is larger than 10, which is true. And then action, this is the email action. And this is the webhook action. And the cool thing about that is you can also see the response or any potential errors that are resulting from falsely configured webhooks or whatever. That's it. That was the update to the rule engine on DataCake. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.